So, TJ, you want to start with how great the win was or how detrimental the Hutchinson loss was?
I mean, it's a big loss. And it's certainly a cloud over what should have been
a great day.
What was a great day, but it's still a little bit of cloud over that, right? So I think we got to start with that because I think that's the first thing on everybody's mind. I mean, it's the first thing you're looking at ESPN right now, right? Aidan Hutchinson
breaks
injury, right? You know, and yeah, it was it's terrible. It was devastating at the moment. And yesterday, you know, I felt terrible for Aidan, the person Aidan, in the year he was having.
Yeah.
And who knows what this season could have turned out to be for him personally, right?
Yeah,
we know how important he is for the team,
and
but
exactly,
him having a true breakout year, right?
Yeah.
So you feel terrible that that got taken away from him. Of course it hurts. I think you're going to miss Aidan Hutchinson, the guy, during the week, just as much, if not more, than you'll miss him on Sunday. You know, just his attitude in the building and the hard work and the passion and the, you know, having the C on his chest and being a guy that guys can look at, you know, when you start to get into these dark October days and everybody's sore, and those are the guys you look at to draw some inspiration from, right? So I think you're going to miss that, certainly in the locker room, in the weight room, at practice, and in the, you know, mentality that he brings. And certainly you're going to miss what's been great production on Sundays. I tried to wake up this morning and look at it and say, okay, where do we really go from here? I mean, clearly this is a Super Bowl caliber team. Mm-hmm. I think we've seen that the last couple of weeks. We've seen it all season, but really the last couple of weeks.
Yep.
You're down both your starting defensive ends. I kind of heard you guys talking about it a little bit in the car this morning. I think if you're Brad Holmes, you got to try to find something there, right? Like that's going to be a hole on this defense now.
Gotta go shopping.
You got to at least attempt, right? Maybe something doesn't happen. That doesn't mean they didn't try, but I think you got to try to at least make something happen because this team is so ready to win right now. You know what I mean? You don't want to just say, we lost this one player, season's over. You know, no. And they don't have that attitude, don't get me wrong, but I think that clearly now and especially with Davenport already being out for the season, those are two very important guys on your defense. I mean, look at the team you just played last night, missing both their starting defensive ends. You know, like that's potentially the impact that an injury like that to one of your guys can have. Now, the good news is I think the rest of the guys on the defense are so much better than what they've been in the past. And even after Aidan went out yesterday, you're looking at it, and I don't want to diminish what Aidan brings to this team, but it didn't look all that different with him or with him out, or with him in the lineup or with him out of the lineup. I mean, they were so relentless in beating the absolute hell out of the Cowboys. Even after Hutchinson went out.
How much of that after he went out was just the ineptness of that offense, Dak Prescott, and I don't know. I don't ever want to say that guys had mailed it in at that point, but there's a different level that it looked like they were playing with because the Lions they absolutely beat it out of them.
Yeah.
Beat it out of them and let them know that there was absolutely no chance of coming back. And at that point, it felt like Dallas was just going through the motions.
Yeah, probably. And you end the game with 4 straight takeaways.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? On back-to-back possessions. That's incredible. Of course, yeah, you have to give Aaron Glenn a ton of credit for the plan that he had. But, you know, Ali McNeil, a guy that's getting in there and getting multiple sacks and getting pressures, and DJ Reader pushing the pocket. Josh Paschal, I thought, was very noticeable for maybe the first time in his career. A couple good pass rushes and certainly a couple really good run stops. So, yeah, Dallas probably played one of their worst games they could possibly play. But your defense played arguably the best game that we've seen them play under Aaron Glenn. So, look, I don't think those guys are going to hang their hat. And, John, I was talking with Carson the hallway before, and it's you feel – heartless almost at times, you know, because as a player, you're just like, you're trained and you're tuned to where when guys get injured, you're just like, okay, yeah, like somebody somebody gets injured every year, right? Like we got to move on. It sounds heartless. It sounds like you don't care about the guys.
If it happens in practice, what do we say? Move the drill.
Right, yeah, move it. Yeah, we don't got time to, kind of wait up. And certainly they're going to be bummed and sad and disappointed that they're not going to have Hutch, but that's not a locker room that's going to let it linger. You know what I mean? There's going to be guys that maybe it wakes you up now. Okay, I relied on him to get the pressure, man. Like, I got to do something now. I got to pick up, some of the slack. I got to start carrying a little bit more weight for this team. So it sounds it sounds really mean at sometimes, but
no, but
we've all been through. You lose key guys. I mean, we lost Jordy Nelson in a preseason game to a torn ACL one year. We didn't. It sucks. It's terrible. But you sit there and you say, okay, we got other guys that can step up. Like, we got to move on because the rest of us got to go play. We can't just hang our head and I don't want to get hurt because it sounds rude, man. But that's the way you're trained to react to injuries, and you feel terrible for the person. But when it comes to the football aspect, guys get injured, and you get used to it, and it sounds terrible, but it just is what it is. Now, I think you look at the other side and you say, okay, hey, defense might take them a little while to fix this or figure it out. I heard you talking about, hey, might have to start pressuring a little bit more. Okay, so be it.
Yep.
The other part of it, offense, hey, just keep scoring points.
Yep.
All right?
Yep. Score 40 every week and it'll be fine.
While our defense kind of recovers and figures their thing out, let's do our part. Let's keep, scoring touchdowns every single drive.
TJ,
right?
think about it.
Let's carry this for a while.
The way the Lions play offense, they take the ball so your defense isn't on the field as much, so you can help hide a bad defense or a lesser defense. And then think about it, too. When you have a lead, doesn't that make it easier for you to get pressure? Because you can pin your ears back because you do play up a touchdown, up 10 points, or in the case of yesterday, you're up 30 points. Yeah. It helps a defense if you can keep them off the field and give them a lead to play with. I think that's a great point.
No doubt. Yeah, and that's what they've been doing. I know it's a 5-game sample size, but early in the year when the offense was not
finding their way.
Right. Defense. Yeah. Hey, I got you. Don't worry about it. Arizona, you didn't score the entire second half. Defense. Okay, that's fine. We're not going to let them score. Seattle, right? Defense slips a little bit. Couple big plays, couple penalties, 400 yards of passing. Offense says, don't worry about it, man. We're going to keep scoring. We're going to keep this thing. That's what really good football teams do. So I know as much as the guys on defense are going to have to figure some things out and find areas to pick up the slack, the guys on the offense have the same attitude, right? Hey, our defense is hurting a little bit. We're down a couple key players, now 3 key players with Barnes, Davenport, Hutchinson. We got to do our part. As long as we keep scoring points, as long as we stay explosive, we're going to give them time to figure it out.
And TJ, there wasn't any sulking, to your point. Like, they stayed foot on the gas after losing Hutchinson, and they got Minnesota this week, right? Mm-hmm. And then Green Bay's looming, and the Texans on Sunday Night Football. Like, all of this is in the next 4 weeks worth of football games.
Yeah. And it was fast, man.
The league doesn't stop.
That's why. That's kind of what I was getting at with the injury. Like, you don't have time to let this sulk into Wednesday and Thursday. Like, you got to move on. Like, you have to, especially when you just mentioned the task that you got coming up next Sunday.
That's one of the hardest things about being the guy that was hurt. I don't know if you ever had any season enders or any length of time. I had 2 of them, and if it happens at practice, right, they move the drill, and you kind of don't think anything of it, either side. But then when the team does move on and you're not a part of it, that's, as a player, it's really hard to see because you're not out on the field.
Yeah.
And you don't get a chance to be on all the fun stuff that happens, the inside jokes.
You're not necessarily
hell yeah, you do. You're not, because you're rehabbing and you're rehabbing solo in large part versus being a part of the fun things that happen in the meeting, the fun things that happen on the practice field, the fun things that happen when you travel with the team, and then the hotel, the games. Like, I think that's one of the things that people kind of miss about, like, playing a professional sport. It's a hell of a lot of fun.
Oh yeah,
and there's so many great moments that you miss when you are hurt.
Mm-hmm.